All right, so this is going to be a video about multiplying and dividing rational expressions, and basically I have 5 example problems that I'm going to work through to kind of show you how this concept works. All right, so for this first one here, we have 2 rational expressions being multiplied together. So basically you're going to want to simplify everything first and then multiply across. So right here we have x cubed over x. So what you can do here is divide this part right here by x. So this becomes x squared, and then this becomes 1. So I basically divided the top and the bottom by x. And you get x squared over 1 here. And then with the y here, I'm going to divide the top by y, so that cancels out one of those y's there, and then it also cancels out this y here. So now what you can do is you can multiply across, and you have x squared times y. So I'm going to write x squared times y here. And then we are dividing this by 4. If you notice, everything is simplified here, so you don't need to break it down any further, and that is the final answer for this problem. Okay, number 2. So first thing I'm going to do here is factor everything. So you can factor out a 3 from this 3x minus 6 right here, and you get 3 times the quantity x minus 2. And then I'm going to factor a 2 out of this right here. Okay, from here I'm going to factor out a 2, so you end up with 2 times the quantity x plus 3. And then I'm going to factor up here, I'm going to factor a 5 out of this 5x plus 15 here, and you get x plus 3. And then I'm going to factor a 4 out of this right here, to get 4 times the quantity x plus 2, like so. I'm going to simplify as much as I can first here. So right here, this x plus 3 and this x plus 3 will cancel out, and there is nothing else that really cancels out here. So what I'm going to do is just multiply across here, and you're going to end up with 15 times the quantity x minus 2 divided by 8 times the quantity x plus 2. And if you wanted to, you can distribute that. I'm not really going to worry about that so much for this, but if you wanted to, you can distribute it. It's not too complicated. Just distribute the 15 and distribute the 8. But again, I'm not going to worry about that. All right, the next one. Okay, what I'm going to do is factor out a 2 from that 2x plus 6, and you end up with 2 times the quantity x plus 3. This quadratic right here, I'm going to factor as well. You could also use quadratic formula if you wanted to find out what the roots are and then use that to make the factored form as well. But we're looking for 2 numbers that multiply to get -3 and add to get 1. And those 2 numbers would be 3 and 2. So we're going to have x plus 2. So we're going to have x plus 3, I'm sorry, and x minus 2 for those 2 factors there. And then I like to check my work a little bit just to make sure that they all work out. Looks like this one works. All right, and then I'm going to factor out with difference of 2 squares here. So you're going to have x plus 2 times the quantity x minus 2. And then we're going to divide this all by 2x. Okay, now that everything's factored, it's easier to simplify everything. So divide the top and the bottom by 2, cancels out this 2 right here. All right, this x minus 2 and this x minus 2 also cancel out because x minus 2 over x minus 2 is 1 over 1. Okay, the next thing we can cancel out is this x plus 3 and this x plus 3 right here. And you end up with 1 times x plus 2. And then at the bottom you end up with x, and that is your final answer for this one. All right, we got the next one here. Now this one is to the -2 power. So what I'm going to do is flip this and make it a +2 power. So we're going to have 3n plus 6 over 4n minus 12. And this whole thing is squared. Okay, I'll expand that in a little bit. I'm going to factor out this top part right here. And you're going to be left with n minus 3 times n plus 1. And then factor out that bottom part right here to get m plus 2 squared, or you can just write m plus 2 times m plus 2. It doesn't really matter so much. Okay. From here, I'm going to factor out a 3. So you're going to get 3 squared times m plus 6 quantity squared because of the squared out there. And then at the bottom, I'm going to do 4 squared times n minus 3 quantity squared. And then this whole part right here, I'm just going to basically copy and paste it down because it's the same. So we end up with something like this. One thing I did notice that I messed up a little bit here is this should be a 2. I factored out the 3, but then kept the 6 there. So this should be a 2 like so. Okay, and because there's two m plus 2s right here, I'm gonna factor out both of them with these right here, so these all divide out. And then I can cancel out one of these n minus 3s with this n minus 3 here, and then I can just multiply across, and you end up with 9 times the quantity n plus 1. And then we're gonna divide this by 16 times n minus 3, and this could be the final answer. If you want as well, you could distribute it, but that's not the whole goal of this right here. It's just to simplify the multiplication and division of rational expressions. So I'm not going to worry about the distributing for right now, but if you wanted to, it's not that complicated. All right, this next one here, I'm going to factor out the x squared minus 4 to be x plus 2 and x minus 2 here. Dividing this by 3x. Now, it's a division, so what we're going to do is flip that sign to be multiplication, and then we're going to flip this fraction over here as well. Okay, the x cancels. We can divide the top and the bottom by x. This x minus 2, you can divide the top and the bottom by that. That cancels as well. And you're going to be left with 2 times x plus 2 all over 3 for your final answer. So that's 5 example problems involving multiplying and dividing rational expressions. If you have any questions about anything in this video, let me know.